Sweet. Mother, may I? We continue to play with the word may and may. How many played it? Mother, may I? Right? 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, and all the little lamp posts. They had take an umbrella step forward. Anybody know what the umbrella step forward? I was looking up and I saw that one with umbrella step, so I had to look up umbrella step. That's like when you take a step and you twirl around and you take a step forward. That's an umbrella step, right? Lamppost step. Lamppost step? You ever get a lamppost step? I'm not going to do that one. That was where you actually lay out straight, and wherever your fingers end up, that's where you get the step to. That was the lamppost step, which I thought we could update for the modern age. We call that the downward dog step now, right? Where your hands go, that's where you get to move to. Downward step, right? Mother, may I? It was a fun enough game. I get it. A game of permission, right? But as we saw last week, the may I and the maybe, the may I be sure, we don't need to actually ask permission. We have the power, we have the choice to do the things we want to do. It's not about going to Mother, may I, to get something that happens. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're not waiting for somebody to give us the permission to live the life that's full that we want. We have it within us. We have that urge. It's urge. Ultimate, resplendent, good, emerging. It's within us. It's part of the creative activity that's the spirit that puts itself into our bodies and allows us to be alive. See, God is having its way by means of each and every one of us. So what we really need to do is to accept the idea that we don't need to ask anybody's permission. We are our own permissionary, right? Yeah. But still, as I think about, I'm having more mom stuff. I was thinking about, my mother taught me how to climb trees. And you think, why does a kid need to learn how to climb trees? But see, what she taught me about was the way you really climb in a tree. Like when to climb up in the tree and to lay out with your chest along a branch and have your legs and your arms extended and just to be on the branch until you can feel the branch moving in the wind. She taught me how to stop and just look at the leaves and watch the colors change in the leaves. See, she was a fine artist. She went to the Detroit Institute of Fine Arts, so art was her whole thing. So it was all about the light and being with the light. She taught me how to stay in the tree long enough that you would see the ants and the bugs that were in the tree, see the life that was in the tree, That was what Mother May I allowed me to do. Gave me the permission to just be. And she taught me how to iron. And I had an operation when I was in middle school, and I was going to be in the hospital for about 6 days afterwards. And she taught me how to knit. She said, this will be something you can do in your recuperating time. And I'd forgotten how to knit, but it was really fun for a while. I should go back to that. And then when I was 15, she decided she would smoke a pipe. And she said, well, you're 15, you're old enough, smoke it with me. So we'd get our pipe and we'd sit together and we'd do our little tobacco, get our tobacco cleaners until I was green, It was really fun for a while. That prepared me for another few years of smoking a pipe, but that's another story. Yeah, smoke the hookah. But the bigger thing that she did was to teach me how I didn't need to wait for anybody to tell me what to do. She put a sense of confidence in my brother and I both that allowed us to move forward into our dreams and really take them on. She would say that, you can do anything you want to do in this life. You can be anything you want to be in this life. The only thing I ever ask you to do is to take care of your brother, because he's the person that will always stand by you, and you will always stand by him. She grounded us in that kind of a connection. But she gave us this idea that we didn't have to wait for this and that and other. If we wanted to do that, just get out and do it. Just start. We didn't have to argue. We didn't have to stop believing. We didn't have to debate with ourselves about something. We just accepted that we could do it, and we just moved on. And, I didn't realize it at the time, but she was actually a religious scientist all of our lives, and I didn't even know that. When I was a kid, living here in L.A., when I was about 10 years old, she took us to this church, and I remember going to this round church. And later, I went like, Mom, did you take me to Founders? Yeah, I took you to Founders when we were kids. I didn't even know that until like 5-6 years ago when I asked her about it. I had this like vague memory of being there, you know? She already knew what Dr. Holmes talked about in this thing called life, where he said, stop looking for an authority outside your own conviction. Stop waiting for somebody to rubber stamp your life. If you've got an idea, the reason the idea came to you is because you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to take action on it. Move forward with it. Be your own authority. By whose authority do you do stuff? By your own authority. That's how it does. Because see, you are an individualized, autonomous expression of the divine. And the ideas that flow through you are God ideas in seed form, waiting to be blossomed, to blow up into a beautiful flower through your activity in life. It's your choice to do it. And sometimes fear jumps in there, doubt jumps in there, worry jumps in there. But you know what? Just be courageous about it. You know what courage is, right? Fear that has said its prayers. Wardell, Shirley, two of my visitors from Founders today. You remember Johnny B. Jackson? She used to say that. That was her phrase. That was her phrase. Courage. Just say your prayers, fear, and you turn into courage. There was this guy, I've been reading, been having a whole Founders redo, and kind of, I was doing that Bill Hornaday talk a couple Wednesdays ago because it was his birthday, and then I started reading this book that he wrote called The Inner Light. It's a fantastic book, and in it, it talks about this guy named Sagebrush Sam. See, now, at the Institute of Religious Science, they had the Founders Church, and next door was the Institute. And that's where they had a lot of classes would go on. See, people, initially, Dr. Holmes just wanted to teach this teaching to people. He wasn't trying to have a church. He was just trying to help people's lives be better. He wanted you to keep going to your own church. If you were Methodist, Catholic, Jewish, whatever, keep going to that. Go to your synagogue, go to your temple, go to your church, but come here and learn this teaching of the science of mind to help uplift your life, you see. And so people came from all over the world to go to the Institute of Religious Science to take the various classes. And because there was such a shift in people's lives, and they started to feel so much prosperity, people that went there were feeling good about their lives. They were dressing up. They you got dressed up when you went down to the classes, right? And so when this guy Sagebrush Sam showed up from Wyoming, he found a Science of Mind magazine, you see, and he was reading it, and it just started getting to him. He said, this is good stuff. He's sitting there in Wyoming watching his cattle, and his cattle were getting sick. And he was thinking, if this stuff can heal people, it can heal my cattle. I need to go learn about this. So he trekked on over to California. He actually came out here on a cattle train, so he was a little rough when he arrived. and he chewed tobacco, and he talked like a cowpoke. And he went into the Institute, and he says, I'm here to take the classes. And the secretary went, oh my God, who is this guy? And she went and got Dr. Holmes. There's some cowboy out here who wants to take classes. And Dr. Holmes loved everybody. So he was like, really? A cowboy? Where? Come on. So he's out there checking him out, took him into the classes. And everybody in the class was like, whoa, like, who is that? They didn't really want to get next to him. And it was kind of interesting that you didn't really want to be next to him because he was chewing the tobacco, and he had to sit near the window because there were no spittoons so he would raise up the window, but fortunately he would look out, and then he'd fire it right across the patio and hit it right into the garden. That's what he did. And people were like, oh my God, right? But he studied this stuff. He studied this teaching, and he got it down. He got it down so well. He understood speaking his word with such conviction that some of the hoity-toities that couldn't quite get it right would say, Sagebrush Sam, could you speak the word for me? Why, sure, little darling, I'd be happy to. You are healed, so it is. Boom, and they'd be done. Because he was just so convinced. Finally, he got it all together, and he traipsed on back to Wyoming and started healing cattle and never heard from him again. But he got it. He had this sense, you see. He understood what Dr. Holmes says when he says, since you are the only one who has complete access to your thought, you can do this for yourself better than anyone else can do it for you. Yes, We have practitioners for you to go with. And they're here for you until you get to this place, until you get to the sagebrush Sam place in life where you can do it for yourself. Because, see, no one else has access to your thoughts. You can tell a practitioner anything you want to tell them, but you know the truth. You know when you're in doubt. You know when that practitioner says, and so it is, and you go, right, whatever. You know that, see? And when you hear that, right, whatever, get back to work on knowing the truth for you. That whatever is a key. It's not a doubt, it's a signal. It's like when you get your gas gauge and it goes down and the light comes on. You don't drive around to the car. No, you go to the gas station. So when you go to your practitioner and they give you the prayer and you go, yeah, right, whatever, that's the light coming on. Now you just go back and pray it again. And you keep doing it because you have complete access. Whoops, back up. Because you have complete access to your thoughts. See, nobody else can do this for you. But what you can do for yourself is amazing. You do not have to ask Mother, may I? Nobody's going to make you go back to the starting line, and you don't have to get to the win of the game except through your own consciousness. And this is the power that we have available to us. This is the power of this teaching. This stuff is powerful. But we have to put it into practice. We have to know that we don't do it by anybody else's authority but our own. By whose authority? My authority. Your authority. The authority of spirit that lives within you that's waiting to give you the gift. It is our Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So, now what are you authorizing? I'd like to put, I'm a texter. I've become a crazy texter. Johanna and I text each other. We're in the same room. Sometimes I'll go in the other room and I don't want to get up. I just go text her. Hi, honey, I love you. LOL. It's not laugh. It's live out loud. I live my love out loud. LOL. I live out large. LOL. Think about that when you put LOL on something. Yeah, okay, laugh out loud. Yeah, but live out large. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have a big life, to dream big, and to make our big dreams real. Real. One day, Dr. Holmes was leaving, another Interlight story. This is such a great book. I had so much fun with it. I read it faster than any book I've read in a long time. Johanna says, will you put that book down? Just about. I got 5 pages more. And then I only had 5 pages left. And I'm like, reading really slow because I only had 5 pages left, you know. And then I ordered another book called Aladdin's Lamp, also by Bill Hornaday. Same darn book. Changed the title. I was so bummed. So if anybody would like a copy of Aladdin's Lamp, I'd be happy to give it to you. All right. So the story, right. So back to the talk. So Dr. Holmes is coming out of the service one day, because this is all about by whose authority and live in large. Live in large. He totally believed in this. He had a chauffeur. Chauffeur's name was Webb. And so he comes out of the service. He didn't like to drive. He could drive. He actually drove once all the way up to Asilomar, picked up a hitchhiker and proselytized to him all the way up there and turned him into a religious scientist. I'll tell you that story another service. But so here he comes out of the service, and Webb pulls up and opens up the door, and Dr. Holmes gets in, and some guy breaks through the crowd, and he comes up to Dr. Holmes and says, mighty racket you got here, chauffeur, big car. What's that all about? He says, it's no racket. It'd be a racket if I didn't have a chauffeur. What are you talking about? Right? Are you catching what he said? He's teaching this principle of truth, of wealth, of value, of prosperity, of having your dreams made real in life. And he says, if that's what I'm teaching and I can't manifest what I need in my own life, what am I teaching? That would be a racket. No, it's no racket. That's why I got Webb. That's why I got a chauffeur. That's why I live in a big old house in Larchmont. You know? Because he understood that life is to be lived out large, to be lived fully, in comfort, you know? We're not here to suffer. God did not put all this abundance in the universe for us to suffer. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would this plant have only one flower on it and it's got all these leaves and all these stalks? No, that's just the way it works. Why would an orange tree with all of its branches grow just one orange? That's not how it works, you see. And that's not how we should work either in life. We shouldn't just be about one victory. We should be about victory every single day, over and over and over and on and on and on again. Peter! Help us. Jesse, get up. Oh, he's on camera. He can't go. In The Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes writes, let us enlarge our thought processes and dare to think in universal terms. Let us enlarge our thought processes. How are you thinking? Are you thinking small? Are you thinking limitation? Are you thinking, well, I could do that, maybe. Stop that. I want to do that, and I can do that. Because I dare to think in universal terms. How big is the universe? What? Right? So if you're thinking in universal terms, even if you fall short, it's still got to be at least a Pluto or something. I mean, that's big, the universe. It's really, really big place. Think in universal terms. Be large like that. There's another story in that lovely little book about a lady named Sally Kinsey, 14 years old. She wanted to be a dancer. She looked big for her age, and she was a darn good dancer. She lied about her age. She went to this nightclub. She started dancing. The owner of the nightclub says, you are fantastic. You got a job. She would dance at night. In between her shows, she would do her homework, kept her studies up. Her mother worked overnight shift at the VA hospital. So mother would leave for work. A couple hours later, Sally would go to work. Then she'd come home a couple hours before mom would get home at 3 a.m. One morning, she comes home, walks in the door. Now, what Sally would do is she would come home in all makeup, full costume, because she figured once I got home, I'd shower, take off my eyelashes, all that stuff. So she walks in the door, 15 years old, eyelashes, high heels, the whole garb, and a light click comes on. Mama had a headache, came home early. Ding, busted. Had to quit the job. But she loved dancing. Loved it. So when she got old enough, she went back out and started dancing again. And she was really, really good at it. And one day, while she was on the stage, a catastrophe took place, and the scaffolding came down, and it hit her, and she became paralyzed on her right side. She could not walk. And she was glum. She was really glum. She took it hard. But she had been going to, her father was a guy named Arthur Twine, who was the founder of Third Church of Religious Science in Leimert Park. It was the first black church of religious science. And that was her grandfather. So she was raised in this teaching, but at that moment, it failed her. That happens. Even Dr. Holmes says, I got sick, I forgot. And he got better. Says, I remembered. She forgot. But then she got better. She remembered. And slowly she regained movement in her left side. And she began to walk again. And she began to go out again. But she still could not move. She never could move that arm. Never could move that arm. And she finally found a new job in bookkeeping, but she decided that she would be helpful to people. So she helped anybody she could. She would take people home from the VA and she made a bright, it was called Bright Light Convalescent Care. She created this place at her home, and she would just bring people there and help them to get better. She became this saint of all of that activity, right? And her and her husband had a baby. And she thought, oh my God, I've been able to do all this stuff, but how am I going to do a baby? I only have one arm, you know? And her practitioner said, our capacities are enormous from the time we are born, and we don't half use them. That's what her practitioner said to her. Our capacities are enormous from the time we are born, and we don't half use them. So what Sally did is she looked at that little Janine sitting in the crib, and she said to her, okay, I need you to be really still right now, because I'm going to have to change your diaper. And the baby was still and helped her change the diaper with one arm. And she thought, is this just this one kid? Is this just this one child just cooperative like that? Well, it happened with Alan, and it happened with Desiree Ann again. And you know what? It happened in this very room to Flo's daughter-in-law. Where are you, Flo? Flo's daughter-in-law, Jeanette. Same thing, only one arm. Had a baby. Flo watched it when she said to the baby, I need you to be still and help mommy change your diaper. And the baby started lifting and helping mom out, because they know There's so much knowledge within us that we forget over time. And so what I want to remind you is that you don't have to say, Mother, may I? You don't have to ask for permission. You can do it by your own authority, and the authority is within you, and the knowledge is within you from birth. You were brought here with the knowledge, but we just forget along the way, listening to all the messages, playing little games like, Mother, may I? Move 3 steps forward. May I, may I, may I, may I, may I? Yes, if you want to, move 3 steps forward. It's your choice. It's not easy, though. It's not easy to sit when you're in pain and to know peace. It's not easy when you're in lack and to know plenty. It's not easy when you're sad to know joy. But if you can do those things, you will move from sadness to joy. You will move from lack to plenty. You will move from pain to peace. But you gotta have the idea. You gotta have the idea and let the idea flow. And last night, an idea came to me about idea. Are you ready for this? Idea. Imagination, determination, expectation, and affirmation. If you do that, your idea will be made real. Imagination, I got an idea. Oh my goodness. Determination, I can do this. I can do this. Expectation, and it's gonna happen. Affirmation, I know it's happening now. And that idea becomes real in your life. That's pure science of mind, folks. That's how we get to do it. Dr. Holmes says, let us dare to believe that every constructive word we speak is invincible. Whoa. Oops. Oh, no, that's on. There it is. Invincible we are. When you have the idea, be willing to make it happen. Don't ask, just know. Be your own Sagebrush Sam, or your own Sally Kinsey, or your own Jeanette. In the Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes says, have enthusiasm, and above all, have a consciousness of love. Love your idea. Love yourself enough to make your good come true. Have a radiant feeling flowing through your consciousness at all times. A radiant feeling, a vibration tone of light and energy moving through your consciousness at all times. A can-do attitude that's not waiting for somebody to turn around and say, take 3 steps forward. You don't need to do Mother May I unless you're playing on the playground. But if you're playing in life, live it out loud. Have an idea, imagination, determination, expectation, affirmation. And so it is. So it is. So let's do that affirmation today. Are you ready? See how it goes now? Here it is. Aligned with the all-nurturing universal presence, I move through life courageously stepping into my good. Doesn't that feel good? Know that. We are powerful beings just waiting for something to happen. And if you watch the news this week, you know that we are so needed. We are so needed. And I'm not talking politics. I don't care about the politics. That just happens. 8 years later, we'll be talking about something different. I'm talking about the stuff that's deeper than politics. I'm talking about the war, the pestilence, the pain, the diseases, the hunger, the hurt, the economic slavery, the physical slavery that's taking place in the world, the stuff that's beyond politics. We are the ones waiting to make that stuff change. Have an idea? Get out there and make it happen. Got an idea? Not sure about it? Put it in this box and let one of the practitioners speak the word for you and know the truth for you. And if you have that idea right now, let's share it into this room. Anybody that you know that's in need of prayer at this moment, any thought, any feeling, any change that you want to make happen in someone's world, let's have it out there right now. Who is it? Say it with conviction. Say it strong. Gregory. Absolutely. Our dear Gregory Seymour had a heart infraction last night. He's over at Simi Valley Adventist right now. Maybe he's watching us. If you're watching us, we love you, man. This prayer is going out for you as well. We're knowing that the divine spirit that is within each and every one of us is fully present in our consciousness in this moment. So we have dropped the veil of separation, and we know that we are one with Spirit. We've caught the idea. We are standing in our own authority. We're not asking for any permission. We're making a declaration, a claim, and an acceptance upon the universal power that brings about plenty, that brings about peace, that brings about joy, that brings about happiness, that brings about right action and divine guidance and perfect resolution. All of these things are available to us because we stand in a supreme, sublime place that allows us to use our power constructively with conviction. We are invincible beings moving through this thing called life, putting aside any concerns or worries or doubts and standing in the deep, deep knowledge that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it, and it can use us, and it is using us now. So feeling that truth and knowing that it is our truth, we speak this word of joy and expectation and affirmation, knowing that as we speak this word that we believe, it becomes a manifestation and the demonstrations in our lives. This is the process of prayer in action, and we are active in that process. So I release it with deep gratitude to that perfect law that before I even spoke the word, before anyone in this room ever said a name, idea, or condition, it already knew, and it's already about the business because we have decided it's so here and now, and so it is. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.